Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and today I would like to unbox and share with you the Evangelion card game from Bandai. This is part of the Chrono Clash system. It's compatible with any of the other card games from Bandai that use the Chrono Clash system. And this is EV-01, the Shinji Ikari and Rei Ayanami set. I've hung on this for several years now, waiting for a chance to open it, have some time to allocate to unboxing it. And this card game is good for 2 to 4 players, takes about 30 minutes to play, and includes 2 tournament packs. We're going to unbox all of this stuff right now. This became available for pre-order back in 2020, I believe, and I jumped on this the very first chance I got. I believe I was one of the first people, one of the only people to receive it. It didn't seem like this was really a popular game, but it did have a second edition, or rather a second package with Asuka, Langsley, Shikinami Langley, and Kaoru. That set I also have, but we'll unbox that another time. For now, I'm just very excited to break the plastic on this. Evangelion is my favorite anime of all time, and it's something that I'm very pleased to have experienced. Every anime, every movie, every manga. Can't say every video game because the video games have been very sparse here in the West. So it looks like we have our player mats, and we have a lot of different themed player mats. Here we have the battlefield. This is just over Tokyo 3. Lovely. The motif of the Sephiroth tree behind the extra deck. The Guardian stack deck, the discard pile, the deck quest points. Player 1 on the left. I'm assuming those are like hit points. And player 2 on the right, and another one, this time showing a darkened sky. The carriers coming in to drop N2 mines on the approaching threat of the angels. Just drop an N2 mine on it. We have instructions, which are in different languages here. We have French, Italian, Chinese, English, Portuguese, Japanese, Dutch, and Spanish. We'll take a look using the English rule set. But it looks like the rules are pretty concise, and it looks like they're pretty simple compared to a lot of card games, multiplayer card games. We've got action cards, we've got actions of attacking a tapped enemy battler, attacking the Guardian stack, questing, activating tap abilities, and then we have a lovely sort of glossary telling us what all of the ability icons mean, targets, abilities, effects, triggers, modifier. All of these I'm willing to bet because they don't use Evangelion IP specific iconography, that these are just the very general icons used in the games that use the Chrono Clash system. So if you have any of the other games from Bandai that use this system, this should be perfectly compatible with those decks and with that system. We have a deck of extra large cards, 2 tournament packs, which have never been opened before, and a starter deck. This is a pretty big deck of cards. It's gonna be really fun to see what all comes in this. I love this box. Really sticky bits right here and here to keep our stuff in. No set dressing underneath the plastic tray. I didn't expect there would be. We'll move that out of the way. And the first thing we're going to do is open up our oversized cards. Don't know what these are for, don't know what they're like, and we're not learning to play in this episode. We're just unboxing. We've got the Eva Unit 01 with positron cannon, the dummy system, Awaken, all featuring art from the show, AT field, some of this has been repainted, Evangelion test type 01, near third impact, Eva Unit 00, the ESV, Evangelion prototype 00, and Sele. Now, don't know what these cards represent. I'd have to go back, take a playing mat, and open it up, and I suppose I would honestly do the game the most service. Are these cards for the extra deck? I would say so. They should go right here in this pile, probably face down. So this single deck of cards should be good enough to use for all players involved. Possibly just 2, but 4 if you make some modifications. 4 if you get more cards. All of the cards have a common back, and then we've got another very useful card-sized glossary. Yeah, this is for player 2. And actually, it looks like we have another one here for player 1, so I bet you, this is about the size of a player's deck. And that makes sense to me. So we put the deck here. Look at the differences between the player 1 and player 2. I would say life track. As soon as you get to 0, it's halfway off the card. I think that's a nice touch. Alright, and so, taking a look, we've got, yeah, this is the Shinji Ikari and Rei Ayanami decks. Yeah, so they're even different. They're different characters, and each one has their own themed deck. So that's what this is. We take and we use the Shinji cards for the Shinji deck because that's the kind of deck that we're building, versus using these green and blue cards for the Rei deck. Okay, I like that so far. That will mean that the Asuka and Kaworu decks in the other box, in the second box, are two more character decks. So we have Shinji Ikari, Shinji and Rei, Shinji Ikari again. This time he's slightly different. This one has a cost of 1, this one has a cost of 3, and they have different icons below their picture. Evangelion test type 01, EV-01 progressive knife. This would be a very direct attack. Test type 01, the 5th angel. This one has quite a few, 2 rows of icons, and it looks like the second row is conditional. There has to be something that happens to be able to activate the stuff on the second row. I would say Ritsuko Akagi, Misato Katsuragi. I love this character. Shinji again, test type 01 again, Shinji Ikari again. But these are different. These are different versions of this character. They're different states of mind for his character as he develops throughout the show. Test type 01 again, a few different forms. The 5th angel again. Interesting that they associate certain angels to the deck. The 4th angel, with Toji and Kensuke, really happy to see them in here. Looks like this is from the, if I'm not mistaken, this is from the movie. This is from the Rebuild movie. I would say that then all of these scenes are from the Rebuild movie, and don't run away. That's what I would say, which makes me really, really want even more decks. You know, these are the only 2 collections, the only 2 sets that I know of. Perhaps there are more sets. Rei Ayanami, and then Rei Ayanami, and then Gendo Ikari. It makes sense that Gendo Ikari would be in the Rei deck. Evangelion Prototype 00, a few different versions of this. Eva, the 6th angel, a great shot of the 6th angel, definitely from the movie. This is my favorite angel as well, and my favorite fight. The 10th angel, this is Zeruel. This is a big deal. Kozo Fuyutsuki, Gendo and Rei. Rei, you won't die, I will protect you. One of my favorite lines from the show, Evangelion Prototype 00. Tentative name, Rei Ayanami. One of the most chilling moments from the show and the movie, Evangelion Prototype 00. Prototype 00 again, going into a bit of a rage mode. The 6th angel, a cool representation of it here. Love its form. The 10th angel again, yeah, very specifically the Rebuild form from the movie. And thank you, thank you, thank you, Rei. The next thing we're going to do is get into the, I'm going to go ahead and get these back to where they were separated, because I liked how they were separated. And I suppose it'll be like this, actually, exactly like that. So we'll go ahead and get into the tournament packs now. And it almost pains me to open up a blistered, or not a blister pack, a booster pack of cards here. It's for a good cause, and I'm going to keep the packaging. You know, not that it ever has any value or matters. It's just torn packaging at this point. But this was imported from Japan and everything, and I'd really want to keep that. It comes with 2 cards. That's it, just 2. But we have a foil version of Rei Ayanami and Eva Unit 00, the ESV model. So these are probably the exact same as their non-glossy counterparts. This one's got a red back though. This purple backed card belongs in with the rest of the deck, but this red backed card, does this go with the extras? Maybe that goes with the extras? It's just a different size? I would say. But then again, yeah, this is one of the cards from the extra deck, but it's in small deck form, but it has the same back, so it's unmistakable. It's not going to go in with your purple cards, I would say. Maybe you draw them all at the same time, I don't know. The designation in the bottom right of the card is still EV-01-44-EB. There's no differentiation between them other than the size and the obvious foil additive to the motion lines here, or what I'm going to call the motion lines for the purpose of this overview. Now let's get into the second booster pack. I'll just rip this one all down the side. This one is probably specifically going to be for the first, I would say, deck rather than the second, since those were both, no, actually, I'm wrong. They're both Rei Ayanami cards. I don't know what possessed me to think I had a Shinji in there. I've got the beautiful Misato Katsuragi as well as Evangelion Production Model 02. This is interesting. It feels like this belongs in the second set, which is called EV-02, Evangelion card game. The Asuka Shikinami Langley and Kaworu Nagisa set. Oh man, love that. Love that they used pictures from the Rebuild movies. It would have had a lot of charm if they had used still shots from the classic anime, but I can absolutely forgive that. I have no qualms against that decision. So we can put the two decks safely back in their box, this time separating them with the two compartments that are included. That's what those are for. Now we can kind of take a better look at the rules. The path to victory. There are multiple ways to win, so you'll need to use your resources wisely to pursue victory. Players can be eliminated from the game in one of two ways. A player is eliminated when they are attacked with no guardians left to protect them. A player is eliminated when they attempt to draw a card from their deck and fail to do so. The last player standing wins the game. Or if a player completes 5 or more quests, they win. Battlers represent the characters on your team. Actions are one-shot cards with devastating effects, and extra decks are battlers and action cards. These cards are so powerful that they are played from a separate extra deck. They are hard to summon but could be critical to victory. Gotcha. Every battler card has a cost in the upper left-hand corner, a guardian ability in the bottom right, and an ability in the row underneath the picture. They have a strength in the bottom left of the card. Action cards have a cost in the upper left, a guardian ability in the lower right, and looks like at least one row of abilities, 2 rows here for Don't Run Away. The extra deck, which can be battlers or actions, have costs, abilities, and strength. Setting up a game, you can play the included decks right out of each set box. Just shuffle up and battle. Each player will need their own deck to play. Each player shuffles their deck and deals 5 cards face down into their guardian stack. These cards are your guardians for the game. Players can't look at these cards unless the game tells you to. If a player has an extra deck, they shuffle it, placing it face down near them. Each player draws 5 cards from their deck for their starting hand and determines randomly who will take the first turn. Finally, place a counter on the 0 space of the Chrono Clash gauge and you are ready to go. They recommend you use a coin, but this here is the Chrono Clash gauge, and this is the integral part of this game system. The Chrono Clash system. Whenever you pay the cost of the card, you'll keep track of it on the Chrono Clash gauge. Time is the resource of the game. Whenever you pay a card's cost or lose time, you'll move the counter that many spaces towards your opponent's side of the Chrono Clash gauge. Whenever you gain time, move the counter that many spaces towards your side. The most important thing to remember is that whenever the counter gets to your opponent's 1 or higher, your turn ends. You can play as many cards as you want, but once the counter reaches 1 on your opponent's side of the Chrono Clash gauge, you can't play cards anymore. During your turn, you'll follow these steps. Untap your cards. Tapping means to turn it sideways to show that you've used it. Untapping means to turn the card to its normal orientation. Draw 1 card from your deck. If you can't, you lose. And the main phase. During this phase, you can do the following things in any order, as many times as you want. Summon a battler from your hand, paying its cost. So, Rei Ayanami has a cost of 3. This is a battler card, so we could summon this one. Play an action card from your hand, paying its cost. Attack with one of your battlers. Battlers that you summoned this turn cannot attack, so Rei here would not be able to attack. Send one of your battlers on a quest. Battlers you summoned this turn cannot go on quests. Or activate a tap ability. Battlers you summoned this turn cannot use tap abilities. Whenever the counter on the Chrono Clash gauge gets to your opponent's 1 or greater, your turn is over. You may also choose to pass at any point during your turn. Maybe you don't have any cards in your hand, or you don't want to play the cards you have. If you pass, put the counter on your opponent's 3 on the Chrono Clash gauge, and they begin their turn. Some cards have what is called a summon trigger. When you use your action to summon a battler, you can go ahead and resolve whatever is next to your summon trigger. In this case, quest clear. Oops, nope, I'm sorry. This green arrow is a trigger, but it's not always a summon trigger. This is a quest clear trigger. Other cards have a destroyed trigger. This is an example of a summon trigger. Sorry guys, I don't play card games that often. If summoning the battler ends your turn, you must still resolve the battler's summon ability. Battlers you summoned this turn can't attack, use tap abilities, or go on quests. So these icons actually pair up and combine to give you entire conditional statements right on the card. So this is an example here in the manual, but a battler summoned this turn has a summon ability, and if you have all of these 5 icons in a row, it means upon summoning, destroy the chosen battler with a strength of 4 or less. So, alright. When we summon this card, choose somebody from the B side, a battler, not an A or action card, with 4 equal to 4 or less, and then damage. So that would be strength, because I guess the red is the strength there. Yeah. Yellow would be a card's cost. Red is a battler's strength. You don't seem to have any more icons that follow that design convention. Really interesting. I like that. Here's some more examples of this sort of icon logic at play. Whenever this battler attacks, discard a card from your hand and draw a card from your extra deck. Whenever this battler is tapped, to activate their tap ability, gain 1 time. Whenever you summon this battler, chosen battler gets -3 strength. If the Chrono Clash gauge is on your opponent's 3 or greater, do this 1 more time. That's a bit confusing. That would take some looking into, some studying. This is why you don't skip algebra in high school, kids. You won't be able to play the Chrono Clash system if you skip your classes, your Chrono class. Alright, so anyway, that is EVA-01, Evangelion card game, the Shinji Ikari and Rei Ayanami set. Let me know if you liked this unboxing, if this is something that you'd like to see more of, and I'll go ahead and unbox the second box here on the channel. Understandably, this probably won't be as popular as a lot of the other content that I have, but I really wanted to do this on camera, kind of make sure that I communicated my love for this series and my impressions of this unboxing. Do I think that I'll ever play this? I don't think so. I think this is going to be one of those cases where I have it just because it's neat. And if I ever have to really make room for some other Evangelion merchandise, then this might have to go. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe the Chrono Clash system will really draw me in, and I'll really want to play games that have that mechanic. The icon logic is specifically interesting to me for sure. It's almost a challenge to me, like, you can learn this. You should learn it. You should be inspired by it. But I don't know. Guys, let me know what you thought about this video, and thank you very much if you got this far. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye for now.